What is up, my dashing dudes? I am the Hans TV, and today I hope that y'all are ready for some stupidity, idiocy, and just downright dumbness, because we're diving back in to r/StoriesAboutKevin. Our first Kevin for the day comes to us courtesy of Iron Man 5521, 24-year-old Masters in Engineering Kevin. This is a bit of a short one, but I reckon he classifies as a Kevin compared to a lot of people. My 24-year-old roommate from India moved over to Australia at the start of the semester to complete his master's in some sort of engineering major. He's asked me some common sense brainless shit before, you know, the type you could ask anyone and should probably ask Google to avoid being publicly humiliated, or is just generally annoying, especially in the middle of the night. At first, it just seemed like someone who just moved out of their parents' house and didn't have certain life skills, which was true, which I'm fine with helping since I'm 19 and have generally been self-dependent for quite a while now. But this type of behavior quickly escalated to one that a person could only be described of having if he was genuinely mentally challenged, or if in the following scenario, had extremely sensitive teeth with a combination of the latter, which he did not. This Kevin displayed the most zero life skills or common sense type of stupidity. The type of shit that makes you want to cleanse the gene pool or have natural selection reinstated for the human race. Anyway, this morning was the cream of the crop. Some serious stupidity. By the way, I'll keep you posted when more of this type of stuff occurs, because it will. He asked me if he could put a metal mixing bowl with cereal and milk in it into the oven because his milk was too cold. And to reiterate, he did not have sensitive teeth, nor was the milk very cold, as we store our milk in the same fridge at the same temperature. Anyway, somehow the concept of utilizing room temperature to heat up the milk slightly in the bowl, or to do this in the future by leaving out the milk for a few minutes before pouring it, evaded him. The idea of transferring the milk and cereal to a different bowl that would heat up faster, or allow him to microwave his cereal for a few seconds, also slipped past him. Anyway, I think this more or less proves to me that employers should not entirely rely on IQ tests to measure intelligence, to say the least. Well, this guy sure does sound like a grade A certified dumb. Our next Kevin comes to us from Cross This Eye. Cannot tell if just dumb or a Kevin. My one friend comes across as a Kevin. Couple of things here. Doesn't understand how sarcasm works, especially over text. Sure, text is hard to see sarcasm, but he's basically immune to it. Memory of social incidents is nil. One joke is I get called gay, and I say something back or whatever. He passes me in the hall and says, #CrossThisEyeGay, and I immediately pull out my phone and text him, "No you." Thinks I am upset with him because he did something. Doesn't get a lot of social cues. We kick him around a bit. We pick on everyone in our group, but constantly think he's the only one we pick on. Doesn't pay attention to my femininity jokes and harshes us when he's targeted. Tell us his family is poor. I know they're not that well off, but he has a 2017 era phone. Got it when they were $800. Real nice leather jacket this year. VR kit, I think. That's more or less everything that comes to mind. Okay, my bad. This guy is a certified grade A dumbass. Our next Kevin comes from Squeamish Squash. Kevin may be from a planet with multiple moons. Backstory. I'm in the Coast Guard and I was stationed with this Kevin many years ago. One of his jobs at the time was to stand as a lookout while on patrol. Basically, he went up to a deck above the bridge and called down any boats, aircraft, or hazards to navigation that radar or us driving the boat may have missed. Kevin was known top to bottom for being the most Kevin-y Kevin. Anywhere from showing up on a Wednesday and walking around the boat in civilian clothes, asking everyone why they were at work on a Saturday, to going down to the engine room and trying to rewire our electric panels to be more efficient because he read a book about it one time. This particular night, I was on the mid-watch, 12 a.m. to 4 a.m., with Kevin in the Gulf of Alaska, myself and 3 others on the bridge driving the boat, and Kevin up top standing lookout. It started as any watch with him would, him calling down obvious shooting stars as flare sightings, and us getting yelled at by the captain for alerting him of anything Kevin says, despite policy dictating we have to do so. Hours into the night, we notice there is a full blood orange moon in the sky. We discuss it for several minutes, and start to move on to the other conversation topics. No sooner do we move on than we receive a report from Kevin that with something like, "Kevin, I have a surface contact bearing north approximately 100 miles away." Very normal contact report, but the officer in charge decides to go over and check out the newly reported contact. He noticed that there are only 2 contacts in that area, and they have both already been called out by Kevin. Maybe an honest mistake. I call back up to him to clarify, but no. He insists there is a 3rd contact. I then proceed to ask him jokingly if he called out the moon as a surface contact. It must be noted that the moon is also fairly high up in the sky. This man replies with, "Oh yeah, maybe. My bad, we just don't have any moons like that where I'm from, so I figured it was a weird boat." Kevin was never allowed to stand lookout again. I don't know what to say about this one other than certified. Our final Kevin for the day is actually a continuation from the last time we did a Kevin episode. It's part 2 of the group work Kevina Mega Fail Saga by Market Lady. So, it's 1 month later since Kevina started not showing up or doing anything. She missed 2 weeks because of stuff with a family member, which she could have easily arranged class around that. Missed week 3, which was the big presentation, as the instructor said for her not to come, as it would kill our grade having a group member not knowing anything versus missing. We got a perfect score without her. She missed the week after because class was canceled. Instructor out sick. We just finished week 5 of her mess. She's been messaging us since week 3 whining, saying she doesn't know what's going on. We keep telling her she has to read the simulation, which tells her everything, as we can't give her all the info. Too much won't make sense without graphs. She also won't read the group chats, which give her the gist of everything. We all had her ask us if we could video chat to give her all the info this past week. When we were talking about our next moves before class, she tried acting like she was participating by citing totally wrong information she pulled out of her ass, which was again laid out in the simulation. She shows up to class this past week and doesn't look at any member, nor say a word to us. She ignores us through the entire lecture and second half of class, which is group work time. 3 of us are sitting there talking about our simulation and decisions, where other teams are in the ranking, and where we need to open up our next fictional businesses' locations, and make new product lines. She plays on her phone and games on her computer, the whole time. We're all dismissed for the evening and still hasn't said 1 word or looked over. As I made the comment, it was funny how someone who hasn't known what was going on for a month, she never did anything to remedy that. G1 says it's time to alert the professor again. I feel like at this point, Kevina should just be kicked out of class. Well, alright my dashing dudes, that is going to do it for today's episode of r/Stories About Kevin. I hope you enjoyed the stories. If you did, I'll link them down in the description as always. And if you liked the video, feel free to subscribe, drop a like, and a comment down below with what you'd like me to read next. A huge thank you to all of my subscribers, my dashing dudes. Y'all have no idea how happy it makes me to be able to put out content that y'all truly enjoy. But with that being said, I will see you in the next video.